any of you seen these men calling into the different podcasts about the e-files and Orange Man discarding them? There's some crying. They're so freaked out. Feel so betrayed. They feel so scared. They feel so angry. And while I'm not here to say, have all this empathy for them, I'm not here to promote feel sorry for them. But I am asking people to look through their eyes. These people believed so fervently in him that they went to Washington, D.C. They went to jail for him. And if it wasn't him, could be people they know. And just even the stories that they've been told are kind of like, folklore at this point. But they believed that much that they were saving him and saving the country from essentially the people that are in the Epstein files, right? Like the cabal. I don't think we understand how deep that all goes, because a lot of us didn't go down that rabbit hole because we were like, okay, they're not really eating schmabies. They're not in the pizza, Pizzagate, whatever. I didn't really look into it because obviously not true. Obviously he is a criminal, but who they're blaming, I don't think belongs in the right place entirely. I don't know, but anyway, my point is it would be very easy to go and attack them and make fun of them and ridicule them and scold them, but it would be a mistake, and that would just be for your own self-soothing in that moment. But I promise you something. Leaving a cult is one of the hardest things that a human can do. This isn't a choice. There's no choice in any of this. There's no choice to be in a cult. There's no choice to fall for a con man. There's no choice of when to leave or how long you stay. This is all function of the brain. A thought appears, I agree or I disagree, or he's great or he's not, and then another part of the brain agrees or disagrees, and then a chemical is released that makes you feel good about it or bad about it. Then another thought pops up and goes, why do I feel that way? And then another thought says, well, it's because of this, and then the other part of the brain agrees or disagrees, and then another chemical is released. That's it. And if you don't understand that, then we need to have a bigger conversation, because there's no choice involved in any of this. Just like drugs, just like being in a bad relationship, this is a narcissistic abuse relationship. They have been duped by a narcissist. And it is one of the most painful experiences you can have, because, like I said, they went to war for him. Emotionally, financially, they've put everything in there. They've lost family, they've lost friends, they've lost jobs. They're pariah in some areas. And they know that that's likely coming even more so. And he's like a father figure, like a general, like a superhero to a lot of them. It doesn't matter if you understand or not. That's what it is like to be in a cult. And that personality decenters your own. So you only have a right to think and feel certain things. So when people want to say, well, these people don't have empathy, absolutely they have empathy. That is some bullshit that has come around that I cannot stand. Because people in cults have empathy, but they also have like a electric fence around them. And because their own personality, their own true feelings get decentered, and it is the cult leaders' feelings that are first and foremost. And that could be God, or that could be whatever, but I can only love as far as that cult leader will allow me, and most of my love has to go to the cult leader, to the mission. So even if you ask them about the deportations and stuff, they'll be part of them that think, I should feel sorry for these people. I should, this isn't okay. It's not okay to treat people that way. But that electrical fence will pull them backwards, because that threatens the cult leader. Then when that electrical fence, which is now short-circuiting, leaves, then your empathy can spread out further, because that electrical fence won't attack you, if that makes sense. So the empathy is there. It's just how far out it's allowed to go until the brain and the chemicals start kicking in and don't allow you to go further. I know, I was in there, and if this had been happening to me, I'd be like, well, they shouldn't have broken the law. I would know that I would feel sorry for them, but also I can't let myself feel it, because those chemicals will then attack me, and then I would have to then attack my leader, probably. But see, now their leader has attacked them. And that's a totally different ballgame. And while you may feel like, well, I'm going to let them know, their brain's going to let them know. You're about to see a massive, massive mental health crisis. I have doctors, therapists, psychiatrists going, oh, yeah, here we go. This is the biggest cult. It's breaking. And I don't care if your parents or your cousins or whoever's going, I don't care, I love him. They're in a form of hell right now. Their cognitive dissonance is being rattled. They are being jerked back and forth. Their brain is just shaking. They are scared. Their brain is working overtime. Well, yeah, but that could mean this. That could mean this. That doesn't necessarily mean this. Just let it do its thing. Just let it do its thing. I know a lot of you may feel like, well, I want to, some of them are reaching out to you. You've told me, like, we had a family friend call my mom 2 days ago screaming that she was all in, and it cracked. And it was a violent cracking. My mom had to hold the phone away from her head while she screamed and cried. This is a breaking of the cult leader's identity, which has been their own. That's why they all look and sound so crazy, because it's him, like, coming through them, essentially. And as that gets attacked, then their part that isn't strong yet is in shambles and is trying to figure itself out. So they're going through some things, and us piling on them. Do you want that happening to you? I was lucky when I left because, well, I got piled on. And let me tell you, the damage done with those people could never be undone, because I was in a nervous breakdown. And then them to, like, shame me and ridicule me and shun my children and stuff, like, can't undo that. And this country's going to have to go through a lot of healing. So it happens when you allow con men power, and it also happens when you allow both sides to be corrupt and take money from places they shouldn't and let corporations be like. So we all have a part in this. He never could have got where he did if we hadn't allowed a lot of the things that were allowed. That if we didn't voted for the people we voted for, if AIPAC wasn't doling out the money in the corporations, like. So while I could go to the place of anger, I try and remember, yeah, but we've all played a part in some way to get where we got. That's how Germany was. It was a very weak left, and the right was able to just dance right in there. We have a weak left. We have a very, very, very weak left. So it's our job to focus on that, so that if there's ever a time that we can invite them over to our side, we have a nice house for them to look at, instead of like, oh, come on over to our dumpster fire that they're already scared of. So, they're going to go through a lot of things. Their brain is going to just pummel them. We don't need to do that. Let's focus on what we need to, which is getting our own house in order and focusing on the stuff going on around us that is already so painful. And while it's an interesting thing, because we felt all this pressure to get out there and do something, but then there's also been this thing, like the art of the war, like, let the other side implode. Because if we went out there and we had tried to stop this, gone to Washington and tried to stop this, this wouldn't be happening. And all the focus would have been on the evil Dems, taking them down, and we'd had a real problem. But cults break apart, and that is what you are seeing. And so it just needs to implode. So if you get into confrontations about your family, about this stuff, just let it go. Let it go. Let their brain do the work. They're going to get a daily dose of horrible news every day from here on out. Their brain is going to be working in overtime. Just let it do its thing. If anything, just ask very basic questions and then just listen. But I promise you, they are absolutely in hell.